Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to your reading for it's for mid-July 2024, and that didn't work, but we're gonna see what's going on for you. You have this up in the air card. It says this situation has many unknown elements due to the influence of others. You also have this Phoenix Rising card. It says you've been through the fire and rising up anew and embracing life in a new, deeper way. So I like that. I do feel that even just looking at your astrology, that a lot of you Pisces are dealing with the influence of others. I think that this is always a problem for Pisces, is like dealing with the opinions of others, or other people. I don't really feel like other people necessarily control what Pisces does, but I do feel that Pisces needs to kind of say that, kind of like put people, maybe not even put people in their place, but I think Pisces needs to make their own decisions right now, and I think asking other people's advice on things might kind of lead you in the wrong direction. That does not mean that you should not ask for help from the right people if you need it. Again, tarot I don't think should be taken literally. I think that it's like loose guidance at best, as I always say, and so I feel it would be much better for you to kind of make sure that you're asking the right people for advice. But I think that, if you're asking people who always give you bad advice for advice, then you're going to have a hard time. So I would be careful who you're asking. You have this, the King of Cups, and I feel for a lot of you that you could be attracting new love. This is the Arc Animal Tarot deck, by the way, if you're interested. But I love this deck, and I felt like an animal today, Pisces, so that's why we're using it. But I feel for a lot of you that this is basically saying that it's time to kind of like listen to your own inner voice and to listen to yourself. I feel like this King of Cups is you. I feel like you're exploring kind of like new boundaries, new directions, new ideas. You have all four kings here, which adds up to the Emperor energy. But I also kind of feel like this is, I feel like it's you. I feel like you are the one that is leveling up at this time. I feel like you are the one that is kind of embracing the energy of all the kings. And now you need to use that energy to create something amazing. Again, I think that it's super interesting that there's an octopus on this card. And, the octopus is about kind of exploring your boundaries. The octopus puts its tentacles into into little crevices that it can't see in, and it's, it kind of represents exploring boundaries or exploring things that you want to explore, and but not knowing what's on the other side, basically exploring darkness. And I feel like that's what you kind of need to do here. You have the Hermit, and the Hermit can kind of represent climbing to the top of a mountain, going through a dark night of the soul, and having been through a difficult period of time. Really the story of the Hermit is that he needs to come down from the mountain. He escaped to the top of the mountain so that he could learn something, so that he could, kind of listen to his inner voice. And now he needs to kind of come down from the mountain because he has gained enlightenment, and he needs to either share what he has learned or he needs to do something. And, I feel a lot of you have kind of explored, really the feeling that I get from this reading is that you've already explored a certain area of life, and now it's time to go explore something else. And especially with that octopus with the King of Cups, I feel like you've done a lot of exploration. You've looked in, you've experienced enough from one area. It's almost like Pisces really has a choice. I believe you can, and there is no right or wrong, by the way. I want to say, especially with this choice, I feel like you could stay where you are, keep doing what you're doing, and you'll be fine. But I also feel that there's kind of like a new world that you want to step into, because it's like you've already seen what you can get where you're at. So again, there is no right or wrong, but I really feel that you want to explore new ideas. You have this Rhinoceros. I feel like you are building wealth, or at least you want to build wealth. And I feel like you want to build success as well. And so I feel a lot of you are kind of just, really that's all I get from this card, is I feel like you're just kind of working on building your wealth and, continuing to be successful. There is a lot in the astrology as well, Pisces, about Pisces needing to really look at how they look at their karma with wealth, and what they've dealt with and what they've experienced as far as wealth is concerned. And again, it's time to correct the emotion behind the karma, is what I would say, especially with that King of Cups. So it's maybe many years ago, and sorry I'm spending so much time on this, but I do feel like it's important. So I feel like you really have the opportunity to level up. Again, you have that Phoenix Rising, which says you're rising up, right? And so there might have been times in the past, like, go back to like 2012, 2013, somewhere around there, and where you had emotional issues or you had financial issues that led to emotional feelings, right? So you might be feeling things now that you need to kind of, and it's almost like you have a choice. Do you go down that negative emotion rabbit hole, or do you correct it and do something about it? With the King of Cups, you have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, like I said, I feel this is talking about boundaries with other people and making sure you're setting correct boundaries with other people. With the Hermit, you have the Chariot. Yes. See, I really feel Pisces has their eye on something, like something that they want to do, be, or create. And it's like the second you get started is the second you're going to start being successful. I feel like things are going to take off much sooner than expected. I feel like you're like fearing a tower moment. It's funny, you have the tower in the area of the good stuff. So it's like nothing bad is even going to happen. And, but I feel like you could be fearing a tower moment. You have the Five of Swords and the Five of Cups in this same middle row here. And so I feel like the Five of Swords and the Five of Cups are kind of like the worries, the fears, the, worrying about this, that, and the other thing. You also have the Three of Wands, which kind of says, like, what are you waiting for on getting started on something? So, I think things will take off sooner than expected. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Three of Wands again. Yes, like wealth is waiting for you, is what I feel like this is saying. We even go up through the Five of Swords to the Hierophant. And the Hierophant kind of represents a connection between the heavens and the earth. He has a connection between the two things, and he can communicate with both sides. So, he kind of represents being able to bring a dream down to earth, or being able to, manifest something that you are dreaming about here in this earth. In the next row for what's coming in for you, you have this diving beetle. It says slow movement, creative force, water. You have a centaur. It says untamed nature, marksmanship, and master teacher. Yeah, I feel like you need a direction to aim in with the centaur there. I think you need to, it says marksmanship. I think you need something to aim at. I think everybody does really, but definitely you for sure. We're going to have Pluto going into Aquarius in November. And that Pluto and Aquarius energy is all about kind of having a North Star, having something that you move towards, having something that you can be even like passionate about or excited about, and starting to kind of put the work into manifesting it. You have the King of Wands, the Five of Swords, and the Four of Pentacles. The King of Wands is all about kind of passion, being successful, and it's a card of confidence. And really, he is kind of like the true visionary in the tarot. He has the gift of foresight, even though he's a Wands card, so he can almost see the future. And I feel like you can almost see the future or a future for yourself. And I feel like the King of Wands is saying that you need to have the strength to move towards it. I'm noticing on this Hierophant card as well, it says big business on it. And, the Hierophant can definitely represent kind of structure and can represent tradition, all things that go into big business. But, I feel like you could be working on something big is really what this is saying. But you have to kind of let go of the fears. You have to let go of the, things kind of, this right here, the two fives. You have this fly card. This is the Five of Swords. And so I feel for a lot of you, this is kind of like needing to let go of the fears of things, but also needing to take bigger risks. I always say that the Five of Swords to me is a card of risk taking. Like, yes, it can represent winning at all cost. Yes, it can represent a separation. And yes, Pisces, I do feel like you need to divorce from something going this way to the Hierophant, but I don't think you're divorcing from a person necessarily. I mean, of course, if you're going through that, then you're going through that. But, I feel like this is saying you need to divorce from this idea right here. Sorry, that didn't work. The Four of Pentacles. I feel like you need to divorce yourself from the idea of like material loss, or you need to let go of the idea that, everything around you just always falls apart. The over dramatic reaction, the over dramatic idea of what's going to happen if you take a risk. And that's what I feel like you need to kind of like let go of. I actually don't feel too bad about the Four of Pentacles here. Again, clearly there is, like I said earlier with the King of Pentacles, I feel that there is an opportunity for you to greatly increase your wealth here. And I would just put the work in to do it. The other thing I would stress is that I think because of Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, that you are, with the Stag Spirit here, it's like you're meant to work on something bigger. So I feel, I kind of feel like the problem is if you're working on something smaller, then it's not going to work out very well. With the King of Wands, you have the Ace of Swords. It's like guaranteed success. It's like if you would just start working on whatever you're thinking about working on, or if you would make your move, I feel like there's going to be guaranteed success for you here with this energy. I feel like there's like some sort of harvest coming in for you. We even go down this way to the Page of Pentacles. And I feel like that Page of Pentacles is saying there is, guaranteed financial success or some sort of harvest coming in for you. With the Five of Swords, we have the Five of Swords. Basically the universe saying I meant what I said. Whenever a card repeats itself, it's just kind of confirmation from the universe. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Wands. Quick success. Yes, I definitely feel there is quick success coming in for you. I feel the trick, like I said, is to, divorce the old world or the old ideas or the old emotions, the old karma, and move into kind of like the new, right? We have Saturn in Pisces, karma. And, especially with Saturn, Saturn, can be kind of like karma in some ways. So I feel for a lot of you that, it happened to me yesterday. Like, I'm doing these videos a day late. It's like yesterday I just had like a weird day. I felt weird. I didn't feel like doing anything, and I didn't feel motivated and all this other stuff. But, really, I snapped out of it very, very quickly because I know that I had to snap out of it very quickly. It was an old feeling. It's like I haven't felt like that, like I felt yesterday, probably since like 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. And I had to just kind of like snap out of it, right? And I had to tell myself, it's like all these things that you're worrying about don't even exist anymore. And it's like you're worrying about things that just don't matter. And I feel that that's a trick. It's not, really, it's not about being perfect, right? It's really about just correcting it when you can. And I feel that if you do that, that's where the success will come in. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you actually have three cards. You have this tarantula, the vulture, and the wolf. The wolf is kind of like about knowledge and wisdom. And you also have the King of Swords in this reading, and the King of Swords is also knowledge and wisdom. So I feel for a lot of you that you could be gathering a lot of knowledge and wisdom, or you're expressing it to the world. The Hermit, again, has climbed to the top of a mountain, and he's gained a lot of insights, and now he needs to share those insights, or he needs to express his truth. The King of Swords is all about the truth and, expressing your truth, and it's also about kind of like sharing your mind with the world. I think that, again, not to, I don't really want to dwell on this, Pisces, but what I would say is I think part of the challenge for Pisces is that everything that you're comparing your ideas to, or if you have like ideas that you want to share, it's like you're comparing things that like are not conventional to conventional ideas. It's like if you have a business idea, it's like maybe your business only exists on Mars, right? But you're trying to bring it down here to Earth. And guess what? You need to bring that crazy ass idea down to Earth. But, I think the challenge is looking at this world that we're in and saying, my ideas can't exist in this world. It's like, well, you're right. They can't if you don't bring them down to Earth, if you don't kind of express them into this world. And I feel like that's what this is encouraging you to do, is to like express something here on Earth. I get something about completion with this tarantula card. So again, I do feel like there's some sort of cycle coming to an end. And the vulture is, part of me also feels that it's okay if you're being patient. It's okay if you feel like you're not making progress or you're not doing work or whatever with this vulture. The vulture is all about conservation of energy. I'll show you. And the vultures, they don't flap their wings until they are very, very close to food, and then they kind of flap their wings. I didn't even notice that this is, it says condor on it, but it's basically a vulture. And so I feel for a lot of you that it's kind of like you are a little bit waiting for the perfect moment to do something, with this energy. You have the Hierophant, the Five of Cups, and the Three of Wands here. The Hierophant is all about kind of like blessings and blessings coming in for you. I also do feel there's like a spiritual connection here. Like I said, I think you're downloading ideas that you need to trust or you need to listen to. So I would take your, brilliant Pisces ideas and I would try your best to manifest them here on Earth. I also do feel like you need to kind of work on something that's like bigger or better, or something where there's more opportunity. You have this Five of Cups, and, the Five of Cups really kind of says that you need to focus on the two cups that are behind you. I do feel like there are kind of like some solutions. It's funny, this card here says hidden solutions on it, and, his solution on the Five of Cups, a traditional Five of Cups, is that he has those two cups behind him, and once he sees those two cups, he sees the bridge and the castle. And so I kind of feel that there is I kind of feel like there is a little bit of a hidden solution available to you. I don't really feel it's hidden. It's not like this is some sort of secret or you're not going to be able to find it. I feel it's more just that you have to kind of give yourself permission to look for it, and you will find a solution to whatever you're dealing with. You have the Three of Wands, and I feel for a lot of you that, the Three of Wands, by the way, is another card of foresight. Another card, he's looking off into the distance. He's looking into the future. And so I feel for a lot of you, it's like you see that there is change in the future. I do feel like you're making progress, though. Again, even if it doesn't feel like it, I feel like your life is much more different than it was, even 10 years ago. So, I feel things are kind of slowly but surely getting ahead and slowly but surely kind of, just moving forward. And sorry, I got another message as I was saying that as well. And I feel like you need to, I feel like there are a lot of reflections in your life, and I feel major deja vu as I say that. So I've probably said this to you before, but I feel like there are certain situations that are going on in your life right now that are meant to reflect something to you. And so I would pay attention to, whatever experiences you're having at this moment, positive and negative. And I feel like these experiences that you're having are meant to be like, oh, this situation is to remind you of, when you weren't responsible 10 years ago, and it's meant to get you to be responsible right now. I feel like there could be like other things going on in your life where it's like almost like the universe is saying, remember that time you didn't pay attention to this opportunity? Well, now there's a new opportunity that you need to pay attention to. So I would, I don't know, I hope that makes sense. I would like kind of, I do feel you could get a little bit nerdy and really examine all the experiences, everything that you're experiencing right now, and just ask like, what is this trying to teach me? What is this situation trying to get me to understand? I think it would be very helpful for you. I feel it would provide a lot of guidance as well. And again, I think that also, the situations where that message are coming from are going to really remind you of past situations, and that's what I pay attention to. With the Hierophant, you have the Magician. Yes, the Magician is normally pointing to the ground. He is literally saying, it's time for you to manifest some big idea down on Earth. This card says big business on it, this Hierophant in this deck, that Stag card. And so I feel it's time for you to manifest a big thing on Earth. It doesn't have to be big business, as the card says. It could be, something that you're working on, a project. It could be a relationship. It could be whatever you want. But I do feel it's time for you to manifest. With the Five of Cups, you have the Five of Wands, 555. Well, technically you have 5555. So right here, the 3 5s especially are, it's a card of change or transformation. And so I feel a lot of you could be going through a major change period at this time. The 5 of Wands also wants you to learn from conflict as well. So, again, these don't have to be big conflicts. These could be little inner conflicts where you're kind of not sure if you want to do something that you're doing, or maybe you're asking yourself, am I wasting my time, my effort, my energy? And the Five of Wands wants you to learn from those things. So just like we said, I feel like there are things you cannot make this up. With the Three of Wands, you have the Wheel of Fortune, the wheel of karma, right? Things from the past, things returning. And again, I'm not saying a person is returning from the past. What I'm saying is I think that I feel like there are many experiences, things that you're going through that are kind of, being reflected back to you at this time. And I feel you need to look at those things. The Wheel of Fortune, it's kind of almost like Pisces is getting a second chance to correct their karma, or to correct certain things in their life. It's like, I don't know if you've ever thought this, Pisces, but I definitely have, right? Kind of like the whole, if I knew then what I know now type of energy is kind of what I'm getting here. And so I think that there are going to be new opportunities coming in for you in work and business and love, all areas of your life, where it's almost like you do know now. It's like you do know how to have a successful outcome to whatever you're doing. And I'm speaking generally because I literally feel this reading is talking about every little aspect of your life. And it's like saying, it's almost like you are getting to relive 2012 till now again, right? But this time you can do it better. And I feel the Wheel of Fortune is saying it's time for you to take control of your destiny. It's time for you to kind of make something big happen, and it's time for you to stand out, right? Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this groundhog spirit says time to let go. There you go. You have this horse spirit says freedom is yours. I do feel you are setting yourself free from that karma as well. So a lot of you could be setting yourself free from past experiences, past situations. The groundhog is also a card of transformation. The groundhog, the story of the groundhog is that they have multiple chambers in their burrows and they go from one to the other, and it just represents, death and rebirth, going from one stage to the next. And I definitely feel that a lot of you are kind of like moving on to a new stage with these two cards and gaining more freedom. You have the King of Swords, the Tower, and the Page of Pentacles. The King of Swords, I feel, is about you kind of being an expert, you speaking your mind, you sharing things and standing out, right? Pisces are geniuses, so I feel it's time for you to kind of show that brilliant mind of yours off to the world. It's the King of Swords, which is not really like the opposite of your energy, but let's just pretend, for argument's sake, for this reading, that this is the opposite of your nature. Is being, if we look at the King of Swords, he's kind of like reserved. He's not, he doesn't really necessarily speak up, and really it's because he's been through a lot of battles, and he kind of picks and chooses his battles in life, right? But I almost feel it's time for you to be more King of Wands. I think it's time for you to be more, flamboyant, more out there. I feel it's time for you to be more expressive, and so kind of like coming out of the cold, and I hope that makes sense. You have the Tower. Of course, the Tower's coming up in the good stuff, so this is going to be good no matter what. The Tower, to me, kind of represents seeing reality. So, the good, I would say the good side of the Tower is that you are being set free from a reality that it just isn't helpful or isn't true in your life. And so a lot of you could be being set free at this time. I also feel that for some of you, you see the reality of your situation. So, like I said, with the King of Swords, it's almost as if this card is saying that you are just being honest with yourself, and really that's the best that we can do. So that's what I feel like you're doing there. And the snake would represent a change. You have this Page of Pentacles here, and I do feel that there could be abundance, or there could be more success coming in for you at this time, especially if you're working on new projects, new businesses, new ideas. Another card of learning, though, and so I feel like you've done enough learning, and now I feel it's time for sharing, right? With the King of Swords, you have the Eight of Swords, coming out of the cold. The Eight of Swords and the good stuff would say you're setting yourself free. I feel like you felt very trapped. I don't even know what today is. Today I think is the 13th. I really need glasses. I cannot see just only, an arm's length away, right? But what I would say is I think today is the 13th. I think this video will be out on the 14th. And, I feel that even right now, even this last week, maybe you've been feeling more trapped, or like I was yesterday, maybe you're feeling feelings from the past, but you will be set free at this time. With the Tower, you have the Tower. So again, another repeating card. The other message I'm getting here is that, I feel like this will be a good retrograde for you, this Mercury retrograde. So again, I think it's going to be one of those positive ones where you maybe learn more, or you experience more, or, again, it could just be a very successful time for you. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups could be a knight in shining armor coming in for you. If you do want love, not really a love reading, but if you do want love going this way, I feel that this is saying you have to let go of the fears from the past and the worries and the doubts, especially with those fives. I do feel that there could be a person who's almost trying to come in for you, but like I said, I would let go of those fears and worries and all that other stuff. You have this Wind Chimes card. It says peace and harmony on it. I feel like there is more peace and harmony coming in for you. Four of Pentacles would say to me that you are trying to maintain your current state. It's like sometimes, and I do feel with Saturn, Pisces, and by the way, if you have Saturn on your, if look at your chart, if you know, go to astro.com and you can get a free birth chart there. But I would look at your chart, and if you have Saturn on your north node, like I do, and some of you might have, Saturn basically conjuncting your north node, depending on when you were born, which is a pain in the ass. I think that it's worse than Saturn return, and my Saturn return was a breeze. I don't know about anyone else, but what I would say is that it really, really kind of just having Saturn in your first in Pisces, really forces you to be responsible. And, again, if you have your North Node there or something big like that, then it's even more. And what I would say is I think that you want peace and harmony, but also I think the challenge with the astrology, what I'm trying to spit out here, is that you could be holding on to something, thinking that you're being responsible, thinking oh, this job is keeping me afloat, it's letting me pay my bills, but really it's preventing you from finding peace and harmony. So I think you need to look at those things. You have this card that says, be careful, do not take risks. I think this is talking about the type of risk where you just want to be set free, so you just do something in haste. I think right now is a really good time for calculated risk, but if you're just doing something just to do something, just because you're in an energy that you don't like, I think that's where the problems will come up. So don't take that type of risk. You have this March card. You also have this Fine. It says, seek out information that will help you. I would look back to March of this year. It's like, what were you doing? What were you thinking about? I would say like March, April, May, those like 3 months. What were you thinking about? What were you working on? What were you doing? There's definitely something you're going to be revisiting from that time. You have this Diamond card. It says you will be receiving or giving a precious gift. So there could be a gift coming in for you. You have this Eye card. It says psychic ability, trust your intuition. Obviously, you are a Pisces, so obviously you should trust that. But this is pretty interesting here, Pisces. I see like big wealth opportunities, but you're gonna obviously have to make changes to get there. But it looks pretty good. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.